Friends turned enemies, turn one-sided beatdown as Colby Covington gets the win over Jorge Masvidal via unanimous decision. Pretty much what the majority opinion was expecting in terms of the finish, and that there wasn't one. It went to a decision. Colby
Mm-hmm.
Covington getting a pretty dominant decision win. Dominic, to start our discussion here, I want to ask you, was there anything that surprised you about this fight?
No, not really. It's weird. Like it was such a big fight, so much on the line, but then here we are recapping, and it's like, I guess it did go as expected, like the headline says. I mean, Colby implemented the game plan that I think we all anticipated. Jorge fought how you would think he was going to fight. I mean, he did okay in the takedown defense, but at the end of the day, it was the pressure, it was the relentlessness of Colby Covington that ended up getting the win. There was the crazy moment in the fourth where they were swinging and banging, and Jorge knocked Colby down. But other than that, it was pretty much smooth sailing for Covington from start to finish, man. So nothing too crazy, to be honest.
Well, me and you both were giving a little bit more credit to Jorge Masvidal in the lead
Mm-hmm.
up. So, for me personally, I am a little surprised because I didn't think this fight would be near as one sided as everybody else seemed to think it was. I understood terrible matchup, but Masvidal basically the second half of this fight, you look at that body language, he didn't want to be in there anymore.
Yeah,
Colby Covington broke him,
yeah,
which is just kind of crazy to say.
says a lot.
Didn't think that would happen. I thought the cardio wouldn't be a problem, and it clearly was. Again, you talked about that shot in the fourth round, a beautiful left hand that dropped Colby Covington, and yet Jorge still
Mm-hmm.
looked defeated. Did not try to finish that fight. Didn't really try to
Yep.
follow up with anything substantial. That was a defeated man. Even when he had his glimmer of hope in his eyes, it was already over.
He had nothing to pounce with,
He
Crazy.
was too tired or
Mm-hmm.
just, again, mentally defeated. It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
honestly insane. I got to give a lot of credit to Colby Covington. I know for a lot of people, I don't think there is a lot of credit being given to him because it's like as expected. He did what everybody sort of expected him to do. But I think he deserves a little bit of credit because, it's not easy to be that dominant. And
Right.
for him, yes, I understand the two losses to the champion, but he's basically solidified him. He is the Robert Whitaker of welterweights.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is clearly that second guy, and like the to me the difference between one and two, but from Usman to Covington is not very like it's not very wide.
Right.
I think
Right.
it's a short difference, but it's a big difference between one and two, and then the rest of the pack. And
Yeah.
that's obviously we have some names coming up. Gilbert Burns is still
Yeah.
definitely in there. Hamzat Chimaev obviously on his way up, but for now, I mean, Colby Covington is clearly silver in this division.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I agree, man. And it really outside of that, it just takes us to what could be next for both guys. And I guess we should probably start with what Colby said after, because he calls out another former teammate of his, another guy from American Top Team, Dustin Poirier. Noah, I know we kind of texted immediately in the group chat, and it is a big fight. Don't get me wrong; it would be a big fight, more huge storylines. So that checks boxes for sure. But to me, I felt, and I still do this morning, Sunday morning, that I don't know if that fight will happen. I mean, again, like I said, it does check boxes. It is big. It's going to draw eyes toward it. Dustin's pretty big in the sport right now. Colby's obviously huge as well, but I just don't get a good feel that this fight will happen. I don't think there's much intrigue from Dustin. He even said like earlier in the week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, but like he doesn't even want to fight Colby. But if he does, it's not going to be in the octagon. It's going to be on the street and yada 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 on site. So I don't really know. I still kind of want to get your thoughts, anyways, based off your text message too.
So Colby Covington, whether you love him or hate him, you gotta say like the guy's a smart guy. He knows what he's
Oh yeah,
doing.
yeah,
He comes from that Chael Sonnen school of fight promotion,
yeah.
and where even going into this fight, I think he already wanted to plan his next step.
Yeah.
So he wins, he gets on the mic, he calls out Dustin Poirier. And there's a reason for that. Yes, Dustin Poirier has been fighting at lightweight for so long, like has never fought at welterweight, while Colby has been in welterweight his entire UFC career. But look at the welterweight division right now. Kamaru Usman said that likely him and Leon Edwards will fight in July. Then you got Gilbert Burns fighting Hamzat Chimaev. Colby's kind of the odd man out right now.
Yeah.
So he's looking for a big fight. He's looking for a fight that's going to keep him at an elevated level. He doesn't want to, you know, fall into a little bit of obscurity for a while. He wants to keep his name relevant, keep himself, in the headlines. Dustin Poirier, the man who defeated Conor McGregor twice in 2021, would be that guy who is like around him, but like to me it makes sense. And I'm sure there is some legit heat there. I'm sure Colby, I'm sure they legit don't like each other. But I think that it's more calculated than just him calling out someone he doesn't like. I think it's because he doesn't feel like there's an appropriate matchup for him at welterweight right now. So he's going to go for a guy who's flirted with going to welterweight. But of course, I don't think it's going to happen because for me, I look at Dustin Poirier and I see a man who is pretty clearly focused on Nate Diaz or nothing in terms of the future of his MMA career. I don't see if Nate and Dustin aren't able to come to terms. I don't know if Dustin fights again.
Right.
And if he does fight again, I don't think it's against Colby Covington. For one, I don't think that's a good matchup for Dustin.
No, I agree.
Especially for a debut at 170. I mean, that's just asking a lot. And again, it's like, is the pay going to be really worth like prepping your body for to move up? And again, all the heat that he's going to have to take from Colby. I mean, look at what Colby said. I think I didn't hear it at first, but I had to be kind of told after the fact. I mean, he called his wife a Jezebel. He said his daughter was Conor McGregor's. I mean, look, we understand the fight game when it comes to the shit talk. Like, there's no line. People say there's a lot of mean things said, but you never like to hear a family get brought in. It just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't sit well. So.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great look, but I also don't think the fight's going to happen. But I respect where his head's at there in terms of trying to think 2 steps ahead. I guess we'll have to see. But do you feel any differently? Do you think that fight's a possibility in the future?
I don't, man. I mean, really, we were kind of on the same boat. We still are here today. And I don't know. And if it doesn't happen, you're right. Colby's in a weird spot because he can beat everyone else seemingly, but he's already lost to the champion twice. So he's holding that number 1 spot, but it's like essentially he's gatekeeping a title shot. If you beat me, you can probably fight Kamaru. I said in the group chat last night that I think if Hamzat beats Gilbert, I think that's a phenomenal fight to make.
Well, what if Gilbert beats Hamzat? Isn't that still a phenomenal fight?
True, yeah. I guess I should just say the winner of Gilbert and Hamzat.
I'm more so. I just wanted to make sure you were thinking that.
I guess I say Colby Hamzat because in terms of just the gratitude. That's not the word.
The levity,
the magnitude.
Yeah.
I don't know why I got those confused.
I get
the magnitude of Covington Hamzat is a lot bigger than a Covington versus Burns. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why I automatically go to Hamzat. But yeah, him versus the winner of that fight makes sense. I know you kind of gave your thoughts, and I'll let you tell everyone how you feel about that idea. But for me, that's what I see happening. So a little bit of time off. Maybe Colby gets the winner of that a little bit later this year.
If Hamzat beats Gilbert Burns and he has to fight Colby Covington next, I think that's a shame. I think the UFC would be pissing away a gold mine opportunity to put a guy who deserves it into a title fight, and I don't think they're going to miss that opportunity. Mm-hmm. You put Hamzat, who would have at that point beat Gilbert Burns, one of the most hyped prospects you've ever had, who has shot his way up, and let's say he defeats Gilbert Burns in emphatic fashion, has done it without even breaking a sweat. Then you put him up against a guy who's lost 2 times to the champion and risk, losing like your one true contender for the belt. I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I do think if Gilbert Burns wins, there's a argument to be made. For me, I think Gilbert would still. I think you give Gilbert another shot at the title at that point. But
Hmm.
more than likely, he probably would get put up with someone like Colby Covington after that, and that still could be a pretty big fight, especially if you get Gilbert Burns coming off a win over Hamza. I mean, that's a definitely elevated fight at that point. But for Colby, I think it's just going to take some time. See how the field moves around
Right.
over the next few months. We may not see him again this year, honestly. He's never been the most active fighter, especially over the last couple years. You know, he took that after that loss in the first fight against Usman. We didn't see him again until the following August, where he fought
Hmm.
Tyron Woodley, and then it was a year and 2 months later before he fought Kamaru the second time.
Yeah.
And here he is, like, what, 6 months later fighting Masvidal. I understand the Poirier fight. Maybe there is a chance for it. I don't think so, though.
Yeah. And really too, sorry, which is why we're on the
No,
topic of like
let's
what
keep going.
next. You said it doesn't matter with the rest of the division, and I don't even think for Colby, but even the winner of that Burns and Chimaev fight, which we'll get more into next month. But like, you still have you have Bilal versus Vicente Luque happening again too. So like, I know that doesn't sound as intriguing as a title fight as Hamza does, but it's just there are a lot of layers. Kamaru's saying he's going to fight in July and then go box in September. We don't even know what he's going to do. It's just the division. It's like in a good state where there are fresh matchups coming, but it's still in a very weird state because you do still have two guys at the top that are beating everybody and all this other crap. So
Yeah. Now for Jorge.